The alarms on the bridge of the Truth-Seeker were long dead. Commander Valerius knelt, not by choice, but because the deck plating was warped and buckled around him. His comms were silent, broken. He was alone, save for the silent, pulsating form of the archivist mind of Xylos, slumped against a bulkhead. Its crystalline light, usually a vibrant spectrum of recorded galactic history, was dim, erratic, almost extinguished. What had just happened? No explosions, no energy readings, just this. A terrifying silence and a subtle, nauseating shift in the very air around him, as if reality itself had begun to ripple. Valerius had heard the whispers, even through the archivist mind's filters. The whisperer. Not a foe that fought, but one that convinced. It didn't destroy worlds, it simply changed them. Or changed the minds that lived on them. The archivist mind pulsed weakly, then, with a terrible effort, projected a single, fleeting image before its light dimmed to a near-total blackout. A breathtaking vista of a perfect, serene celestial garden. Then before it vanished, the garden warped, subtly, grotesquely, into a horrifying, impossible tangle of thorns and grasping shadows. The beauty was a lie. The horror real. This is it, then Valerius thought, his stomach churning. It's already here. The cosmic entity known as the Whisperer had emerged from the void just weeks ago. It had no physical form that could be targeted, no discernible consciousness that could be reasoned with. Its weapon was subjective reality itself. It generated illusions so perfect, narratives so compelling, that entire civilizations willingly embraced them. The Vailari, masters of crystalline logic and flawless societal order, were the first to fall. The Whisperer presented them with a perfect, idealized version of their own civilization. Every flaw removed, every imperfection erased. The Vailari, so accustomed to presenting a perfect facade, accepted this reality. They ceased to innovate, to grow, to even exist beyond the perfect illusion. Their vast fleets hung motionless, crews absorbed into a delusion of absolute harmony, their perfect order becoming a death mask. The Lumina, ethereal beings of pure light and sound, communicated through intricate, layered symphonies of meaning. The Whisperer wove new notes into their galactic song, subtly shifting the melody to discord, turning their truths into beautiful, irresistible lies. They began to sing themselves out of existence, their light dimming as they dissolved into a collective, glorious hallucination of non-being. Their complex, nuanced communication made them tragically vulnerable to the ultimate manipulator of meaning. The galactic powers, even the most ancient and wise, found themselves helpless. Their own societies, built on intricate diplomacy, projected images of strength, and carefully constructed narratives of self, were fertile ground for the Whisperer's seed of deception. They were too good at maintaining facades, too practiced at polite fictions, making them perfectly susceptible to the ultimate liar. The archivist mind of Xylos, an ancient intelligence that had recorded every galactic truth since the first stars ignited, observed this horror. It knew the Whisperer's nature. It fed on the acceptance of illusion. It thrived on the unquestioning belief in its lies. It was a cancer of subjective reality, and it was heading for Earth. General Aris Thorn, head of Earth's unified defense, stood before a flickering projection of the archivist mind. Its light, even then, was fading. Its weakness, the archivist mind's voice, a raspy echo of its former clarity, projected, is authenticity. It cannot integrate raw truth. Thorn, a gruff, pragmatic man of action, had scoffed. Authenticity? We're fighting a cosmic god of lies with honesty. Are you kidding me? Your species, the archivist mind countered, its light momentarily flaring with something akin to desperation, is unique. Imperfect, you contradict yourselves. You reveal inner turmoil. You blurt out embarrassing thoughts. You lack perfect composure. Your masks are translucent. Under pressure, you are gloriously, messily yourselves. The archivist mind's final, desperate advice had been a single, terrifying command. Broadcast everything. Filter nothing. The plan was a gamble. Unleash a wave of raw, unfiltered, contradictory human experience. Not as a weapon of destruction, but as an overwhelming static of truth against the whisperer's elegant lies. No logic, no strategy, just us. The messy, vulnerable, wonderfully awkward us. Back on the truth seeker, Valerius watched as the archivist mind flickered violently again. This time it pulsed with a new kind of light, brighter, but chaotic. It was picking up a feed from the galactic core. The whisperer was there, manifesting as a perfect, irresistible utopia. Swirling nebulae of shimmering light, beckoning minds to surrender to its beautiful lie. It was a tempting, glorious delusion, promising an end to all suffering, all fear, all conflict. Then the human broadcast hit. It wasn't a coordinated attack, it was a deluge. A young woman's awkward confession of love, stammering and blushing. A soldier's whispered prayer, tinged with a self-deprecating joke. The sound of a father yelling at his child, then immediately apologizing, his voice thick with regret. The sudden, unbidden memory of a ridiculous meme. A politician stumbling over a clearly false statement, then groaning audibly. The sound of a human crying, sobbing without restraint, then inexplicably sniffing and letting out a nervous, self-conscious giggle. The internal monologue of a scientist, admitting fear about a new discovery while simultaneously boasting about it in her head. The sound of someone singing terribly in the shower, completely unaware. It was a wave of human messiness. The sound of a million imperfect, contradictory, utterly authentic internal worlds colliding. No attempt at composure. No facade. No grand narrative. Just truth, raw and unvarnished. The whisperer's perfect utopia faltered. Its shimmering light began to ripple with discord. The harmonious notes of its song became a jarring, agonizing screech. It thrived on the acceptance of its lies, on minds seeking perfect narratives. But it could not integrate something so fundamentally real and unself-conscious. It was immune to complex lies, but vulnerable to simple, awkward truth. The utter lack of pretense, the raw, unfiltered vulnerability was anathema to its nature. The whisperer recoiled, its beautiful, illusory form dissolving into a shriek of pure, agonizing static, the sound of a universe-sized lie being confronted with a truth too uncomfortable to bear. It pulled back, leaving behind a scarred but undeniably real reality. The archivist mind's light pulsed, stabilizing, regaining its full spectrum. It projected a final, clear message to Valerius. Humanity, you do not seek to be perfect. You are. Its light shone with a new, profound understanding. Valerius stared at the calm void, then at his battered ship, the debris of a battle not fought with weapons, but with honesty. The galaxy was safe. Saved by the fact that humanity was simply too messy, too awkwardly real, too unconcerned with perfect facades to be consumed by the ultimate lie. The universe might now see humanity as deeply strange, perhaps even embarrassing, but also as something profoundly, terrifyingly, undeniably unique. And in a universe of perfected masks, the greatest weapon, it seemed, was often just the naked, unfiltered truth.